Evening. So I was just about to head out the door and I thought to myself, Chris, why are you training on your own? The track's open on a Tuesday and a Thursday tonight. Normally steer clear of kind of Tuesday session because it tends to be a bit faster for me and I do pick up injuries. So I thought before I decide to go and do a tempo session, 3-4 miles on my own, I thought I'd see what the session is. And tonight's a 2K time trial. So there's bits and pieces before and afterwards. We got 4 times 100 before at reasonable effort, and then we've got 8 times 200 afterwards. So the 2K time trial will be interesting because the last time I did a 2K time trial on the track, I ran a 6:55, I believe. And at that time I was running about 18:30 for 5K. My PB for 2K is 6:35, but at the time I was running a 5K at 17:56, I think it was. So be interested to see what I can do tonight. In my head, I'm thinking it's going to be very close to 7 minutes. Might be slightly slower, might be slightly quicker. So it'd be good to see what kind of shape I'm in. Also, I didn't go for a run yesterday. Just haven't been feeling great. Got a bit of the sniffles. Been doing the COVID test because we all think, you get sniffles, might be COVID. So I've been on top of that. Because went out for a run on Sunday and did struggle for a bit, but unfortunately the GPS kind of let me down the first few miles. I thought, I'm dead sure I'm running quicker than this pace, but the GPS was completely all over the place, as you see by the map, and maybe put in a bit too much effort. So when I got to kind of halfway, I was struggling. So it was a bit more effort than I should have been, especially after that park run. Dressed as a werewolf. What was I thinking? That mask. I'd pinpricked some holes in the mouth area, but I think within 100 yards I realised that breathing was going to be an issue. So I really struggled, managed to get into a sort of a rhythm, but really pleased. Only 2 minutes off my PB on that course, managed to keep the mask on, but it was just for fun. I thought more people would have dressed up. At the end of having to change the course at the last minute because I was planning to do it at Brooklands, which I ran before, which is completely flat and tarmac. So I got there nice and early. It had been raining. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough volunteers, so they ended up cancelling it. Jumped back in the car, zoomed home, got my trail shoes, back to the start at Ottershaw. Didn't have time to warm up, got changed, and then straight on the start line. So it was good to get that done. So tonight's session, I'm going to be videoing it, and it'd be good to, when I come back, I'm wearing my chest heart monitor. So it'd be good to see what paces we're running at. Monitors the heart, and then we can go through it a little bit later. So how did the track go last night? Well, good news and not so good news, but let's just stick with the good news. Well, I don't know if it was good news because it was like 4 degrees when we got there, absolutely freezing. Obviously had all my winter gear on. The warm-up was a couple of laps warm-up, and then the next 2 more laps was just with 100-metre kind of strides. And to be honest, even then was kind of struggling a bit because obviously the muscles hadn't warmed up, but that was no indication of obviously what was going to happen in the 2K. So the 2K, the coach obviously asked if any of us were going to go for it. Yes, I was. And I knew I was in around about 7-minute shape based on my 5K, time trial I did at Park Run. So I started off reasonably sharpish and went through the first lap in 77, which I was supposed to go pace-wise for a 7-minute around about 84. So going all out and obviously trying to get the best time I can possible. Next lap went through at 84 seconds, which is kind of bang on pace. It got really into my kind of pace there. Next lap, 83 seconds, so give or take a second. So we're on that pace. And then the last lap, thinking, did I go off too fast? Well, I did the same last lap as I did the first lap. So maybe that was kind of even pacing. That ended in the 77. So when we was running round, the coach was kind of giving out splits, and we went through the 1K at 3:28. So pretty much an even pace run to end on a 6:58, which I was really chuffed with because kind of is in line with my kind of 5K time and kind of the time that I kind of anticipated. Yes, I knew I wasn't going to run a PB, but it kind of puts me in similar shape to what I was running when I run an 18:26 5K on the track. So I'm at that sort of shape in the moment. Cadence and kind of heart rate wise, the cadence was as you would expect on the track when I'm kind of up in the pace. Let's just get into that data. It's always screens on screens, isn't it? So cadence started off around about 198. And then obviously once I got into my pace, we're hovering around about the 177, and then onto the last kind of, in my head, kind of 200, 150, started trying to wind it up until obviously the young chap come past me, which is a bit demoralising when you're kind of thinking you've led all the way and you think, oh, I'm going to gun it down home straight, and they just come flying past. But I got my cadence back up to 198. Heart rate kind of steadily. I was wearing a chest monitor, so it kind of started off kind of around about the 150s, and then just slowly creeped up to 171 beats per minute, which isn't my maximum, but it just showed that I put in a hard effort. And then after that session, we were supposed to do 8 200s, around about 36 to 38. 6 of them were going quite well, taking the bends kind of easy-ish, and then obviously accelerating on the straights. Feeling okay, and then I got to the kind of the 6th one, and my hamstring just felt a little bit tight, so I kind of stopped then, because I think it's kind of sensible to listen to your body. Didn't pull, but I could feel it. And then today, went to go out for my kind of 4 or 5 mile kind of recovery run, and the first few steps, it was so tight, I could barely even run. It was kind of like a hobble. So I ended up doing just under a mile. It did loosen up towards the end. I don't think I've done any kind of long-term damage. I just think it's very tight and probably need a lot of stretching and rolling today. And then maybe good to go tomorrow. Will I go to the track tomorrow? Probably not, because, if you've injured a muscle, then you've got to give it time to recover. I can't expect, one day it's grumbling at me and then the next day putting it through a hard session again.
So great news. The hamstring's been all right. Not 100%, but enough for me to just take easy runs. I like now just to not do any hard runs for at least a week, and then assess it again from there, sometimes 2 weeks. It's important that you don't overload it too quickly. But really pleased that I took the 2 days off. You're not going to lose fitness in them 2 days, so it's definitely worth, when you do have a niggle, just take a bit of time off, assess it, and then kind of take it from there. Because obviously a niggle can quite easily turn into an injury, but you do need to know what you're kind of dealing with. My hamstring injury wasn't necessarily a hamstring injury, it was a tight right glute that was causing that problem. So I think sometimes you need to get yourself to a specialist to diagnose what's wrong with you before trying to fix stuff yourself. So as soon as I went to the chiropractor a few months ago, it almost fixed the problem instantly. But it is an issue that I need to continue working on and strengthening that right glute. So just a question of regular exercises, making sure I stretch that particular muscle all the time, and then hopefully I'll fix the problem. But it's always good to listen to your body and take the time off if necessary. As I say, a few days here and there, you're not going to lose too much fitness, but if you continue running on it, you could end up taking months off. So if you had any niggles, injuries, where you've kind of not listened to your body, you push through and end up regretting it, share in the comments, because it's all about sharing, and we all want to run as much as we can without being injured. So if there's any tips out there, please drop it down in the comments, and then we can all be running happily ever after, so to speak. Sounds like a story rhyme, doesn't it?
Rest of the week, I'm just going to play it by ear. Hoping to meet up with Ben and Dan on Sunday, because they're doing their virtual marathon, the New York Marathon. So I said to them I'd like to join in the second half, just to get some miles on the board. So please check out their channels. I will put links at the end. I say they've got great channels, and they'll be videoing the kind of virtual New York Marathon, which, I take my hats off to all you guys that do the virtual stuff, because it is pretty tough. You know, to do it without crowds, I think I would struggle, but you know, each their own. Got some exciting videos coming up, so please like, comment, subscribe, and do what you guys are doing. Thank you to my channel members for your continued support, and as per always, thanks for watching, and I will speak to you soon. Onwards and upwards. Cheers.